Hey guys, Logan with TalentCompass here, and today I want to talk about how our platform helped us scale our Airbnb cleaning business from 1.973 million in 2023 to being projected to finish at 2.7 in 2024. The main challenge with that kind of growth is how to hire, onboard, and retain enough staff to be able to meet that production. And the three main challenges that we faced was attracting enough applicants to our job posting, making sure that those guys were aligned with our company core values and missions, and then number three, assessing them to make sure that they are actually qualified when they walked through the door. So number one, I will start with attraction. We were having a tough time getting enough people to apply to our jobs, to see our jobs. So I'm going to show you what we did by popping over to Indeed. Indeed, this is going to be our job posting right here. Okay, so we did three things to help us attract more talent to our job postings. Number one, we optimized the job copy, and the way we did that was we wanted to speak to our ideal client. We wanted to get more attention, so our job posting does affect that, or it does reflect that. So if you look at this job posting, you will notice that we are trying to speak to our ideal candidate. We are trying to show some benefits without getting too nitty gritty in the details. That's the first thing we did. The second thing we did was we optimized our ad spend. Some jobs don't need ad spend. Some jobs do need ad spend. So finding that balance of, if we do need ad spend, how are we able to optimize that so we're not spending too much on it where it's really eating into our budget. The third thing that we did was we increased the posting frequency. And so we went from posting once every 4 weeks to 1 to 2 times per week. And that really helped us get more traction and get more applicants so that we were able to hire more people to join the team. So with just those 3 steps, we were able to attract way more candidates. In 28 days, the Dream Clean team, we actually brought on 435 new applicants. That was huge in making sure that we were able to meet our production demands. So that is the very first thing that we did, and to help us attract more talent. That is something that TalentCompass offers as a service, is optimizing your job copy, managing your budget, and posting your jobs for you on Indeed. The second thing that we did was we wanted these guys to be in alignment. So the challenge that we were facing is we would have guys that, they would apply because it was really, really easy on Indeed beforehand. They would just go on Indeed, they'd apply on Indeed. There was no extra steps. There was no anything to filter them out. So people would walk through the door and you'd have a conversation with them and you would immediately realize that this is not a good fit. And you ended up wasting your time. We ended up wasting their time because that conversation showed us that they were not going to be able to last as long as we needed them to be able to help us meet our production demands. So what we did is we stopped allowing them to apply on Indeed. And what we did instead is push them to a hiring page that would reflect our core values, that would reflect our mission, and really get alignment with our ideal candidate. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. This is our Indeed page. If you were to look here, you cannot apply on Indeed. You would actually have to go to our company site. That is going to be our hiring page. So if you click that, you will actually come to this hiring page. This hiring page is dedicated to this position. So for us, that's a cleaning pro, condo cleaning pro. This is dedicated to that position. Now here you will notice as you scroll down, we have a welcome to the hiring page video. We have some reviews here that really talk about how good it is to work here, what they can expect. This really helps paint a picture so that whenever they're reading these reviews, they're like, man, what is it like to work here? What are the challenges? What are the perks? This helps paint a picture that doesn't have to come from me, and it comes from the staff that actually works with us. Next, you'll see that we have a couple of benefits listed along with the actual job posting from Indeed. And then we get into our values, our mission statement, and what we offer. If they read through this and they feel like this resonates with them and it's a good fit, we then ask them to apply. Now, the beautiful part about pushing them to this hiring page is, number one, it is an extra step and it's not as easy as just, quickly replying or applying on Indeed. And then number two, it gets them in alignment. So it really helps them whenever they read this, they know what it's like to work with our company. They know what it's like day in and day out. They understand our mission, our values. And if that speaks to them and that's something that they want to be on board with, then they apply. And that assures us that whenever they do interview, when they walk through our door, we're already rowing in the same direction in alignment. So that was the second thing that we did to really help make sure that these guys that we were trying to hire, we were able to onboard and retain. Part of TalentCompass is if you have a job posting, especially an entry level, we would develop this hiring page for you. It would be specific to your company, your values, your mission. It would speak to your ideal candidate to make sure that really you stood out from other employers and that you really gained alignment with your ideal candidate. The third thing that we did to really help us out was to assess. We were getting a lot of people that were coming in and essentially, they were not qualified for the role. And so they would come in, they would, not live within 30 minutes of our service address. They did not have a vehicle. They did not have a smartphone. They were not qualified to take on this role. And that was a challenge because they were taking up interview slots that, qualified people could have taken, but they had slipped through because we didn't have an assessment period. So what we've done is this form here, as you work through it, we have deal breakers listed throughout that form. Now, if someone comes in and they apply and they meet those requirements, they meet those deal breakers, then they will be invited to an interview. If they do not meet those qualifications and they break those deal breakers, they are not asked to do an interview, which is huge. So that means that when they walk through our door, they are aligned to our company and vision. They are assessed and pre-qualified, which tells me that we can now have a productive interview and talk about what those next steps are as long as the interview goes well. So once they move forward with this assessment, once they complete it, say they schedule an interview, what happens then is I'm going to show you the actual TalentCompass platform. This is our actual platform where we manage the life cycle of our staff. This is where we get a picture of, okay, how many people are applying? How many people are scheduled in an interview? How many people are onboarding? This is where we get that picture and we can track everybody along the entire process. So this is a snapshot here. This is a high level view of how many applicants you have that are qualified, interviews scheduled, etc. This is my company now. We're hiring right now. So this is a live snapshot of what we are actually showing. But if I want to see more details, I'm going to slide into opportunities here. And when you slide into opportunities, I'm going to go to the main hiring funnel, which for me is the applicant journey. And it will be the same for you as well. And so say someone applied, they went to your hiring page, they applied, and they were qualified. They're going to go into this bucket here. Now, let's say that they applied and they were not qualified. We immediately put them into this bucket here. So that way, whenever people apply, you can immediately see who applied that was qualified, who applied that was not qualified. So if they applied and they were qualified, and then they ended up scheduling an interview, you will see them slide automatically to this bucket here. So once they slide to this bucket, you can then see when these guys are going to have their actual interview. If they have not scheduled an interview, they will stay in this bucket and we'll put them into a drip sequence to where basically we remind them, hey, schedule your interview. Hey, have you scheduled your interview? Hey, here's the link, schedule your interview. And we do that for about 10 days to really try to capture those qualified candidates to make sure they don't slip through. Because we've already attracted them, we've already aligned them, we've already assessed them. So we know they're good fits. We know they've done some things to show they're not just tire kickers. So we want to try to really capture them if possible. And that's where they go into this bucket right here. Now, once they have their interview scheduled, they will get into a drip sequence that reminds them of the interviews, that talks about our reviews. You know, one thing that I showed you on the hiring page was our staff reviews. That's a tool built into TalentCompass that we built that is free to use as well on the platform. And we help you gather your current staff reviews and also new staff reviews as they work through the onboarding cycle. And what we do is, as this leading up to the interview, we like to display those reviews. Hey, you want to see what it's like to work here? Bam, check this link out. And we'll take them either to your Indeed hiring page or just to a specific review. And it will talk about how it is to work at your company. This creates buy-in before these guys ever walk through the door. So once you have the interview, the beautiful part too about the interview is we have it structured so that you're not wasting time doing your interviews. So for example, in the past, from 8 to 4, every 15 minutes, I used to have individual people scheduled for individual interviews. And I would do that 4 days a week. So 8 to 4, that's 8 hours, 4 slots per hour. That's 32 slots per day. And I would do that 4 days a week. So that's 120, 130 slots per week and 32 hours per week that I was spending interviewing. Huge challenge. I was not able to work on the business. Interviewing was taking up my entire time. So essentially what we have done is we have moved to a batch interview structure where we only interview 10 and 12 Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, and that's an hour slot per. We allow up to 30 people to book at each slot. So what that means is at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, up to 30 people can book that slot. Same thing at 12 o'clock on Thursday or Tuesday, either one. So if you have 4 slots per week and you have up to 30 that can book each slot, that is 120 people that I can interview in 1 week in 4 hours or less. That change of 32 hours to 4 hours or less was huge because now I had the other 28 hours to work on the business, where before I was really sucked into just interviews each week. So structuring this way has been super helpful to saving time and allowing us to work on the business. Once you have your interview and say you want to move forward with them, you would either slide them over here or you'd fill out a form that says, hey, these guys are great, I want to move forward. And we usually send them an intake form, which basically says, hey, where can you work? What's your schedule? What areas can you work? And it just gives us some quick information so that we know when we're scheduling them what considerations to take into place there. And so once they are sent this, once they fill it out, they will slide here and then be moved to the onboarding funnel. So I'm going to show you my onboarding funnel, but just understand that this can be really catered to whatever your onboarding system is. Even if it's not as many steps as mine, it can be very simple. So this is ours. We have an online course, but this tells me, hey, who is currently not done with their online course? Who is done with their online course but needs to schedule their Zoom orientation? Who has scheduled their orientation? Who has completed their orientation? Now who is getting on to cleaning solo? This is essentially what each of these buckets are for me. This can also be customized to your onboarding system. So this gives me a clear picture of where each individual is along their onboarding journey. If you want a quick overview of a calendar, so say you have an interview calendar, you have a Zoom calendar, orientation calendar, you just click here to calendar, go to appointments, and then you will be able to see all of your appointments for that calendar here. Okay. All right. And so that is a quick overview of the TalentCompass service that we are offering. We help you attract more candidates to your job listing. We help align them to your company core values and missions. We help assess them so when they walk in the door, you know that they are pre-qualified and they're not just tire kickers, which can be huge. We do all this in 4 hours of interviews or less, so you can spend more time working on your business and not in your business. You would have access to this platform to track your applicants the entire process. You can text and email them out of this process or out of this platform. But if you have any questions, let me know. But I did want to spend a little bit of time to just explain exactly what TalentCompass is and how it can help your company grow your business. Thanks.